Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about Tensei Shitara Slime Taken. Rimuru's elegant escape. So without any ado, let's continue. Chapter 257 Side Story, Rimuru's Elegant Escape, 01. Morning for Diablo started quite early. Let's rephrase that. As Diablo doesn't require sleep, he gets work done during the night. In order to work together with his respected master Rimuru in the morning, he finishes up all his miscellaneous work when he is free. When he visited Rimuru's room in the morning, like always, the everyday event of Shina and Shin fighting over who gets to wake up Rimuru was taking place. Excuse me Shin, but you woke him up yesterday, didn't you? It's my turn today, no. Forgive me for saying this, Shina-sama. This isn't something to be done in turns, but my duty as his secretary. Such a thing, even if it's Shina-sama saying so, I cannot abide by it. Splendidly ignoring all of this, Diablo entered the room. Oh dear. It's admiring how they can keep this up without getting tired every single morning. With such noise, there's no way that Rimuru-sama hasn't noticed yet. He once tried to advise the girls to be careful, but forget it. That's basically walking naked into a minefield, you know? For the irresolute, it's better to just let the sleeping dogs lie. Thus, since Rimuru himself had instructed so, Diablo decided to let the girls be. That is, without a doubt, the correct choice. That is because it was like a daily morning custom, and even Milim or Ramirez participated from time to time. Or rather, there were also cases where Milim or Ramirez even slipped into his futon. The girls' commotion further increased when they witnessed such scenarios, and when on top of that, should Milim also join in on the commotion, there's no space for Diablo. Kyu-fyu-fyu-fyu-fyu. As expected of Rimuru-sama, you have read this far ahead, haven't you? While admiring Rimuru's accuracy of predicting what's forthcoming, he was adhering to the saying of letting sleeping dogs lie. If he lets every single thing bother him, he will only get tired, so it is best to not care, is what Diablo understood. However, this was something possible of only Diablo. For example, if it was Benimaru, the girls would demand him to be the judge. Unii-sama, please tell Shin off. No wait. It doesn't really matter who does that. Benimaru-sama. This is definitely a secretary's duty. One's job is important to them, even Benimaru-sama is willing to understand that, right? That, you know, one's job is important, but Unii-sama. Benimaru-sama. Thus, in that way, being blamed by those two, there would also be times when he was the one being treated like the bad guy. It's exactly because Diablo always has this aura of rejecting and overwhelming others that the girls have a hard time talking to him. Therefore, every day, Diablo polished his ability to ignore others and was able to freely exhibit it. Rimuru-sama, it is Diablo. Morning preparations have been completed, so I've come to call for your presence. Calling out to him like that, Diablo would enter Rimuru's room. However, the situation was different from normal this time. After bowing, Diablo raised his head. Diablo shifted his gaze atop the bed, where he saw a single slime wobbling and quivering. Oh? Rimuru-sama, is something the matter? Puru. I am the slime Rimuru-en. I am not a bad slime, you know. Has something up, say? OMY. What's happened, Rimuru-sama? Excuse me, Shin. Please let me embrace him as well. Diablo was just about to ask if Rimuru was not feeling well after noticing his unusual behavior, when suddenly Shin came thrusting in out of the blue from the side. She embraced the quivering slime above the bed, and began to delightfully rub her cheeks on it. While looking at that enviously, Shina put her hands forward to snatch away the slime from Shin. It seems like to the two of them, Rimuru's unusual behavior wasn't a big problem. Even so, Shin. To have thrust me aside so easily. If it's in terms of strength, she might exceed me. Nevertheless, what exactly has happened to Rimuru-sama? Looking at the two of them embracing and caressing the slime in turns with sidelong glances, Diablo tried to sort out the situation. There was no mistaking that the slime before him was Rimuru. But, from that very person's mouth the name Rimuru-en came out. Even if someone could deceive Shin, there's no imposter out there who could fool Shina's unique skill analyst appraisal, so there's no doubt that that's the actual person. Even with my senses, I am able to feel endlessly large amounts of magicals. Which means that slime is undoubtedly Rimuru-sama himself. No, but still, asterisk. That slime just let the two do as they pleased, looking embarrassed. He looked innocent no matter how one looked at him and didn't feel like the usual, brazen Rimuru. However, one still can't overturn the conclusion that this is the actual person. Shana and Shin delightfully started to look after the slime Rimuru N. Perhaps, this is one of Rimuru-sama's evil schemes. Well then, what will he do this time? Diablo reached such a conclusion. He probably left his real body behind and transferred his consciousness to a clone to take action somewhere. Because if multiple parallel existence is used, it's possible to immediately determine the position of his body double. Diablo recalled that due to the cost of becoming such a vast existence, Rimuru was complaining about having difficulty executing covert actions. Oh dear. Is it because an explanation would be troublesome after leaving behind his consciousness? Or is it that he left a message about going out for the time being? In either case, it boils down to me searching for Rimuru-sama, doesn't it? Kyu-fyu-fyu-fyu-fyu. Leaving behind Shana and Shin caring for Rimuru-en on the bed, Diablo followed his instincts and promptly started the search for Rimuru. The escape was successful. Well, it's only natural. After all, I had prepared the clone body which doesn't have a single bit of magic in it after carefully repeating the experiment over and over. This body has the same level of performance as humans. There's surely no one out there who can realize I am the Demon Lord in this form. I was feeling good that the plan was progressing smoothly. The objective this time was to participate in the 8th Development Forum of Magic and Science, which was being held in Ingratia College Town. I wasn't going to be the one hosting it, rather I was planning on attending the event as a general participant. Although the forum is held every year, there was a reason behind him participating this time. One of the presenters this year was an acquaintance. That presenter was Mai Furaki. She is the person from whom I completed the full version of teleportation. Currently, there are 3 places which have institutions called academies. One is the academy called Tempest Institute of Human Resource Development, located in Tempest, where I reside. This academy was expanded to the former Ingratia Kingdom, now Ingratia College Town, and was called Ingratia Institute of Synthesis. And then lastly, in the Sovereign Alliance of the Nascanamria Mulmaria Empire was NNU Institute of Magic and Science Investigation. The academies have different characteristics, but don't quite necessarily excel at anything in particular. As for the annually held forum, the town where it's held is changed every year. This time it just happened to be held in Ingratia College Town. Even the presenter for this event, Mai, was not researching in the Ingratia Institute, but was a member of the NNU Institution of Magic and Science Investigation. She got into NNU since it seemed the most advanced publicly, but due to Mai being easily able to move about using teleportation, she wasn't really tied to being a member of any particular school. This time, finally, Mai had succeeded in developing the navigation method for traveling through dimensions. And since she was announcing the theory, it's impossible for me to not want to participate in such a thing. As for why I had to participate stealthily, there was also a reason behind this. Since I have become famous as the great demon lord who saved the world, if I declare that I will attend an event in public, the venue will be filled with havoc with arrangements and preparations for security. I fear there are the fools who target me to gain fame, but even if that happens there's no need for someone to accompany me. Just that it would be terrible if the possibility that the presenters or audience getting involved comes true. Particularly the presenters, since the most intelligent people from every nation are making a name for themselves, the loss faced in such case would be immeasurable. Although I could just rewind time and undo it if such a thing occurred, it's better to just be careful from the start so that I don't need to go through such troubles. Or rather, I just wanted to take a walk alone to relax too. My home country, Tempest, has now grown into a metropolis, and no matter where you are in the country, there's always someone watching. Although I generally live as I please, it's only natural for me to want to enjoy some free activity. I am moving confidentially with the plan this time. I even stayed quiet about it to Diablo, but, knowing him, when he sees the body I left behind, Rimuru, he will probably realize my intention. All it comes down to is a game against time, but can he really find me at my current state, when I am no different from a human? That's also one thing I am looking forward to. That body in itself would be easier to locate. And if I were to casually take actions like that, there's the fear of being found out by Shana as her unique skill analyst. Appraisal's accuracy is only next to Milim's or mine. Well, that's why I prepared Rimuru, though. Because I left that behind, I can deceive Shana or Shin's eyes. And there's only one reason behind coming to the airport. To get aboard an airplane. Generally, it is always better to escape on foot rather than using any public facilities, as that way it's easier to escape surveillance. However, the surveillance in this world is done by magic, so it isn't something to be that worried about. Rather, going by myself would be easier to detect, as the traces of the abilities I used can be detected. With great trouble, I have finally gotten a human's body. I can use my abilities without any problems, but I judged that it would be safer to seal it just to be sure. Steadily saving up my little allowance, I have managed to secure quite a lot of coins. To be honest, I can get whatever I want directly, so I don't really need money. As such, the money I had on me hadn't increased much from the early days. And so, the money I slowly raised by clinging on to my miles in tears or threatening him was about 200 gold coins. That's a huge sum of money in Japanese yen, about 20 million yen, but is it really a lot for a great demon lord? I had my doubts about it, but as I still left the job of paying my subordinates to my miles, I decided it would be better if I didn't complain and stayed quiet. At the airport, I bought a ticket to go to Ingratia Kingdom. It cost me 10 gold coins, 1 million yen. However, it's still not time to panic. It looks costly at first, but it is actually pretty reasonable. I could have traveled spending less than a tenth of this amount if I took the train. However, even with the fastest train, it would take at least 3 days to reach Ingratia Kingdom from Tempest. And when you take stopping at every city along the way into account, it would take more than 10 days. And when you also include the cost for food and inns, using an airplane is very economical. After all, with a plane, you can reach Ingratia Kingdom within half a day. When comparing time and money, it's the modern person's nature to prioritize time. It's weird how that stays with me even though I have an infinite lifespan. It's the end if you go and say that. That would make my timidness very noticeable, wouldn't it? As always, Seal-san's retorts are unsparing. And so, after this and that, I bought a ticket and got on board the airplane. The interior was luxurious, which is how it should be since it costs 10 gold coins. It's only natural. This is something even I dealt with as well, after all. Now then, on I go to the luxurious guest cabin. Ah, you're entering the academy this time, right? Then come this way. When I was heading towards the first class section, I was stopped by a conductor. He probably misunderstood me as a Ingratia Academy's student from my appearance. At the moment, my hair color is black and I am also wearing glasses and a mask. Thanks to that, I wasn't standing out that much. I had set my appearance up as a 15-year-old, so I guess being misunderstood as a student can't be helped. I wanted to take Minami Satoru's appearance, but that was impossible. I did bring the gene data when I came back, so it's not that I can't do it, but... Like that, Seal-san rejected me coldly with the tone she used to use before. It's not like I can't do it. It's that Seal-san wouldn't permit it. She rejected, saying that things would get troublesome if I were to develop a sex. I will definitely not allow other women to enjoy. Outrageous. I just felt a chill run down my back. Looks like it will be better to not think too deeply about this asterisk. Either way, I need to deal with this conductor first. In the upper class section, there are individual rooms. There are only a number of these luxurious rooms at the upper section of the airplane. Compared to that, the normal tickets were like the ones of the previous world's airplanes, a lot of seats lined up in a space. The cost of that ticket is only 1 gold coin and so is loved by the general public. This time, I chose the luxurious room to avoid others' eyes, but now that I think about it, if I were to get into a luxurious room looking like this, that would stand out more. Changing the ticket would be easy, so I guess I will let the conductor's misunderstanding stay. The seats on the plane are rarely full, so there might also not be a need to tell him anything. Ah, yes. Sorry, I am not used to this, so I made a mistake. Ah, we get a lot of kids like you. The ticket price is high, so your parents are also probably worried because they couldn't come with you. But rest assured, the crew in this plane will take responsibility and make sure you reach Ingratia Kingdom safely. The conductor said with a refreshing, handsome smile. If I am not wrong, only people over B rank with more skills than the general knight can become a conductor. This conductor does not only look good but is also skilled. He should be equipped with a special defensive suit made with magical fiber and an engraved magic which lets them transform their aura into a blade. The conductors are of a much higher rank than the low-ranked nobles, they are elites. It's the employment rule I decided on, so there's no mistake. And such an elite is courteously behaving with one student candidate. I also felt satisfied seeing that Tempest Airlines' education has been thorough. I thanked and followed the conductor into the general section. Well then, good luck. He said that with a refreshing smile and left. Ah, thank you. My reply ended up being very blunt, but I can't afford to stand out, so please forgive me. I sat on an empty seat. I should reach Ingratia Kingdom within 10 hours or so. If they are searching for traces of my magic, they will never find me. It would a different matter if they knew of the searching methods used in my previous world, but here, I can rest easy and flee. I let out a sigh of relief and was in a good mood as I lied down on the good seat. Diablo, who had started searching for Rimuru, pondered. Now then, if I were to guess what Rimuru-sama thought. Diablo pondered, and soon came to a single conclusion. That if Rimuru as he is now were to seriously flee, it would be an extremely hard job to trace him. When he called his subordinate Moss and learned that Rimuru wasn't spotted in their whole surveillance network, he immediately understood that Rimuru's fleeing plan this time was very elaborate. If so, what will he do? He tried to think about it from Rimuru's perspective. There's a risk of being located immediately if he used flight or teleportation. If so, then he's probably traveling by foot. But to track him like that, one would need to know his destination. And at that moment, he suddenly remembered of a person who might know more about Rimuru's actions and his destination. That is a being who is like a secretary to Rimuru. Of course, it is not Shin. After all, when compared to Shin, even Diablo was doing more secretary work. He recalled the scenario he saw before exiting Rimuru's room. Diablo had thought of asking Shina to predict Rimuru's destination, but he gave up even before talking to her. That was because in front of Diablo's sight, Shina and Shin were undergoing a fierce fight. I will take care of Rimuru-sama. It will be difficult for someone crude like you, right? What are you saying, Shina-sama? Even though I am like this, kids love me. You should just leave it to me. They were playing a tug-of-war with what could be called Rimuru's empty real body. Kukyufufu. She is matching that Shin's strength. When did Shinadano acquire such strength? No, that has no involvement in this matter. If they are distracted, it would be best to not ask them anything. Diablo nodded by himself and left the room without the other two noticing. You two, don't go too far. Saying that with a low voice to not get noticed by those two, Diablo left the place behind. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe.